Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this amazing series. I'm Aditya. In this video, we are going to continue coding our REST API. So in the last video, we created the register route. We saw the concept of Mongoose, MongoDB, NoSQL, validation. And in this video, we are going to see the concept of JWT token. We are going to see how to use them, how we can secure our routes, and we'll keep on coding our rest of the REST APIs. So without any further ado, let's begin. Okay, so let's first understand what is a JSON Web Token. So as the name suggests, it's nothing but it's a simple token which is very well encrypted and it helps or allows secure authentication. Okay, so suppose if I'm a user, if I'm making request from my application to a server, if the server wants to know that I'm an authenticated user, it will check for this JWT token. If that token matches, then that's great. I will be allowed to have access to the server. If not, then the server will say, sorry, you're unauthenticated, something like that. It's a very secure way, I would say. And it mainly comprises of three parts: the header, payload, and signature. Header typically consists of what the token type is and what algorithm is used. So there are like some algorithms for that. There is HS256 algorithm, there is RSA algorithm. So it depends what algorithm is used. Then it also says, sorry, the signature then says about the encryption part. So the signature consists of the secret that you provide. So every JWT token needs to have a secret. And then the payload is nothing but the data that you want to encrypt or the data that's been encrypted. So generally for JWT token, you put the data of user, mostly the UID or whatever the thing that you want to for a user identifiable kind of things. So we will be using the same logic. So we will be having the payload, secret, the header. As usual, we'll create a token, send a token to the user so that user can save it on the client side. Actually, the client side application will save it for the user, and then it will be used for the further requests. So let's see how it works. So every token has an expiry time, generally it should, and the expiry time is somewhat, you give it like this, it's in expires in. So here you will see, let me find it, yeah, here. So if you see, like, the time can be in hours, can be in seconds, can be in minutes, so it depends. So generally once the token is expired, you have a new URL which refreshes the token or gives the new token to the user. So let's quickly see how it works. So let's see if we have installed the package first. I think we did actually. Yes, we did. That's great. So now we will go to our user controller. So we'll generate a token once the user register and once the user login. So we'll also write the login function quickly. So let's first write the login function. So async function login, and here request response, and then all we need is first we will get the user based on the email. So in the login we will have email and password. So let's take const email equal to request.body.email and password equal to request.body.password. And then once we have these two things, next thing we will need is to get the user based on the email. So I'm gonna do, actually we also need to check for the errors. So I'll just copy this code. Actually this code is kind of bit repeating, so maybe we can keep it in a separate function. But yeah, we'll see that later how we can restructure it. So once we have this, then we have await connect. And once we connect, then we need to find the user. So const user will be get user by email. So whatever is the user, we will get it by email. And once the user is received, so once the user is there, we will say we need to match. So I'll say const match. It will be the user's password and the encrypted password. So we will do await bcrypt.compare. So it also has compare thing, but we'll go with compare as we already have await in there, because compare is again an asynchronous function. So here it will be the password, so the plain string password. So it will be from the password and the hashed password. So the hashed password will be for the user.password. Perfect. And if it match, then we send response.send user. If it doesn't match, response.send, or let's do something like this, return response.status 403, and let's put an JSON here with a error, incorrect credential. Perfect. Cool. So these two are done. Now let's quickly go for the token. So for the token, let's write a function somewhere. So we can write it over here. So I will say, so we need to also export this because we will be using this in our routers. So login will be login. And then let's write function for token. So function generate token. Now token will be generated based on the user details. So I'll just take it as a user. And then here what I'm gonna do is I will import JWT. So const JWT equal to require JWT. If I'm importing it correctly, let me just double check quickly. I guess it is correct. Oh, it's JSON web token. Sorry, I wasn't correct. So it shouldn't be JWT. It should be, because there is another package I guess for JWT. So JSON web token. And once we have it, we simply do return JWT dot sign. So first will be, so if I go over here, so there will be user. Oops. So here it will be user. Then we will need the secret. So the secret, for now I will just write any random string. And let's put it like this. And then the options. So I will put the options of expires in. And let it expire after 1 hour. Okay, so that's generate token for us. So we will go over here, and in login and register we will simply do something like this. So after we have the generate token, so that will become from here generate token. So we'll take it as a const token. It will be generate token. So we will take in the user details. It will be email. So just one user.email and the UID, user.uid. And then when we send the response, we will simply do user is user while token is token. We'll do the same thing for login as well. So we'll just copy this part, go in the login section, and just put it over here like this. So as you could see, there are like more than one line, so we need to put brackets after if. So let's put this inside that bracket. Correct. Great. Now login is done, register is done. Now let's try to use it. So let's go to our user route, which should be here. So pretty much same logic for the login as well. So if we just copy this part and paste it over here, so this will be router.post login. Here we need to do the other way around. If user doesn't exist, then we say user does not exist. Email does not exist, to be honest. And password same as it is. We don't need name because we are just doing the authentication. And register. Oh no, not register, actually it should be login. Great. So we can take the login from here somewhere. Here. Great. So login is done, register is done. Now let's quickly check it. So let's go to Postman. So if we register again, so let's remove our details from here. Or actually, let's try to log in because we have tested for this. So if I remember correctly, for my password, so body will be raw body of JSON. and here we will have email @example.com, and I guess password was 12345 6. This should be a string 5678 if I remember correctly. Then something went wrong. Let's see. So it says that new error, data and hash arguments required. Oh, okay. The problem was here. We forgot to put async here. So it sorry, await here. So as this is an async function, we need to put await. So we get the user, then I just console log the user, and guess what we have. So if I just hit send and go back to the body, you will see that we are getting the entire user. Now this thing, we don't need to send the password of the user, so we need to hide that for now. And here we are getting the user with all the details. So we are getting the token. This token will be used for making next requests. So what I'm going to do is I'll slightly modify the code. So here when it says user, so okay, let's do something like this. Function expose user details. So this will take user and it will return email user.email, name user.name, contact user.contact, and what else we need? Let's do UID user.uid. We just want to expose these details. So what I'm going to do is when we send user here and here, instead of sending entire user, we will see expose user details user. Cool. So this solves our problem. And now if we check again, send. So we have name, email, and I guess we are missing the UID. Okay, so the problem was that we just need to make it UUID rather than UID. So UUID here, UUID here, here also when we expose UUID. So that will get the job done. So here also we need to do UUID for the login. Okay, that's great. Now let's create some route which is protected. So let's quickly create a route. Let's say we want to create a route to send message. So let's create over here. So let's do here new file message controller.js. Cool. Let's go to user controller because we will need something from here. So mostly all the things. So message controller, all the things are here, and here we will say function send message. So here, before we send a message, let's quickly create the schema for the message. So here I'm going to create a schema. Let's say new schema message schema.js, and then here we can just simply copy paste this and just modify a bit to save some time. So there will be UUID of the message, then there will be sender ID, there will be receiver ID, there will be content, there will be when it was sent, send at, and we can do it like type date, default to date now, and I guess that should be okay. Yeah, should be okay. So we have the method schema. So here instead of user schema, we will say message schema. Let's replace that all. Cool. Now let's go to message model. So let's create a new model here. We'll say message model.js. Let's create, so let's const mongoose, require mongoose, const message schema will come from require schemas message schema. So this m should be small, and then we will do something like const schema equal to mongoose.schema with message schema, and then we will do const what is that? Rather we can do straight away like this, exports.message equal to, so this will be mongoose.model, and this will be called message, and the schema will be the schema that we have provided there. And then all we need is another router here, so I'm going to select another route. I'm going to call it message.js. Now all these message routes should be protected, so what I'm going to do is I'll just go to const express equal to require express, same thing, const router equal to express.router, and this should be con, and then router.get message. So if we want a message, then in that case we will just do something like this. So let's keep it as a root route. So root route is for getting a message, and then let's do something like a message function here, and router dot post will be send message. This will be send function, and router dot get, so this one will be for getting all messages. This one, so we can pass the user ID in this case. Actually in the token we can have a user ID, so we can get all the messages for a user, or actually no, we will need that actually. So here we will need a sender ID. So let's do this actually. So for each receiver and each sender we will get a list of messages, so whenever will someone click on a contact, they will see the message thread of that contact. So what I'm going to do is I will take the receiver ID, because we will have the sender ID, so we don't need to worry about the sender ID. We can get the sender ID from the user's token only. So here we will have get all messages that we will write in quickly, and then here we will have send message, so it's going to be a post request. There we will have the required things, it will be send message, and yeah, I guess for now this should be okay. We can also have delete in case, so we can say delete message. So this should be again a post request. Okay, so let's go now over here and let's quickly, so we have the function for send message, so let's quickly write send message. So here let's say res.send send message route. Let's do it quickly for the other two things. So this will be get all messages, this will be delete message. So here we will do something like, let's see, whatever sender ID we get, we can just send it back again. So request dot params dot receiver ID, and here we will just send res dot send delete message. Cool. Now we have these things over here. We will use them one by one later once we require it. JWT will not require. UUID will be required most probably. So when you send a message, that message goes to the database as an entry because that message is sent after it's sent successfully. Bcrypt is not required as well. User model might be required, and we also need const message model require model message model. Cool. So user is there, message is there. Next thing we need is in our app, sorry, index.js. In index.js we just need to say something like this. So const message router, which we will be exporting in a moment, require route message. So message is here, and then whichever thing has prefix of message, will go in the message router. Now let's quickly go to message router, messages here, and let's export message router equal to router. Cool. So message router is there, everything is there. Now let's test the message route. So what I'm going to do is I will quickly for now let's just okay, let's get these as well because we will need this. So const send, okay, let's do it like this so that we can quickly get the names. So this is going to come from require true, so let's export them. Export not send message. Cool. And if we go back over here, then send message, get all messages, delete message. Perfect. So the router is set, everything is set. Now let's give it a try. So here I'm gonna do message. Let's send a receiver ID of 21. Of course it's gonna be a UID, but just to test. So it's giving an error, cannot, oh, it's a get request, sorry. So 21, that's great. So as you could see, like I'm still able to make requests to this. I want to authorize this request. I want to make sure that the token is there before I make any request. So how to do that? Well, it's pretty simple. So if we go here, you will see there is a code for verify. So we just need to put this as a middleware before it goes for the verification. So we need to write our own function. So here I will write a function. Let's write it in index.js, or rather let's write it in a separate file actually. So here we say authorize.js. So let's do something like export. Now there is other way to keep our authorize. Now I can keep it like this and give it like an arrow function. So that's fine as well. So here I can say request, response, and next. So as it's going to be a middleware, so it takes 3 parameters. First is the request, then the response, and next is to proceed to forward in a request. So let's see what happens. Now we need to look for the authorization header in our request. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const token, headers equal to request.headers, and from this I want the authorization header. Okay. Now this header will be something like bearer space token. So I just need to split this. So I'm going to say const token array. So this will be something like bearer space our token here, whatever the token is. So to do this, like it's a space separated string, so we can simply say header.split, and we will split it with space separated. Now this will give us an array. Now the second parameter in this array will be our token, and we need to make sure that it's always a bearer token. Now what we are going to do is we will say const token will be token array of, so index starts from 0, so second parameter will be 1. And then all we need to do is we just need to verify our token using this function. So let's copy this over here, and we have our secret. So the secret was in, so this was the secret. Now if you see, I need to go to and fro to get the secret. So what I could do is I can have an env file and keep these things in env file so that I can just simply get them from env file. Okay, so let's see how to do that quickly. So in the root folder, I'm going to create .env file. Okay, and along with that I will download one package which is known as .env. So npm install .env. Okay, so all you need to do is just install and just configure it and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I will just copy this line, then go to our index.js, just put it over here at the top somewhere, save it, save this, and here inside the .env I'm going to say secret equal to, so we just need to follow the syntax like how it is given over here. without space. So secret equal to, and we will just copy paste the secret from the user. The thing we need to do is wherever we want to use this, we just need to do simply something like this. So we will do process.env. So this means in the environment variable file, which is .env file, we want the secret. Now wherever we want to do this, we will just go and in our authorize as well, we'll put it over here like this. What we need to do here is if this is correct, like if this thing is perfectly fine, then let's just console.log the decoded information. Actually, this should go first. If error, then in this case we return res.status of 403 Json errors of unauthorized. Cool. If there is nothing, then we just decode it and we go to the next request. Simple. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to put this middleware on our route. So we can do it if it's going to be on all messages, we can just put it over here. So I'm just going to import it. So I'm going to say here authorize, and then as a second parameter I will just put it as our middleware. Simple. Now let's check what happens when we send a message to this, and we are getting cannot read properties of undefined exports.authorize. Okay, let's see what's wrong we have done. Okay, the problem was so once we send it from here, if you see we haven't provided any authorization header. So in case if this is not there, the split won't work. So in that case we just need to make sure that it is there. So if in case it's not there, we just say that hey, include the bearer token. Also we need to do another thing here is that we need to say const JWT equal to require JSON web token, so that we can use this JWT. Now suppose if we include some bearer token, any random token, so let's go over here and let's write some random key. Let's see what happens if we send this. So it says unauthorized, so that's great. Now our routes are protected. So let's try to send an official token. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, go to login again. I guess it was user login. Now we have the token as well, so let's use this token, put it as a bearer token here. Let's put it here, and then here let's do message 21, and let's try to get it, and there it is. So we have successfully worked with the JWT authentication. So that's great. So it's working great. Now let's proceed with actually writing the code for sending and receiving the message. So let's go to code. So how it's gonna work. So first we need to validate what the message is gonna be. Then we will be putting the message in the database, whatever is the message, and that's pretty much it. So if I go to express validation documentation, you will see here there is a function for sanitization. So we just need to sanitize the input because message might contain some text that we don't want to get in straight to our database. So we can sanitize it. We can like remove the spaces from left and right, and also can escape all those escape characters. We can do that as well. So we just need the text. So what we are going to do is we will just write these things. So let's go quickly over to our route. Receive when we get a message. So here we can write it body. So that will be our not body. So this will be our message, and we want it to be not is empty. So we want something inside there, and we want to escape. We want to trim it. We can also put the length on the message, like how much should be the maximum length, how much should be the minimum length kind of thing. But for now, we'll just keep it open. And also we need to, so with this, there will be the sender ID. So, receiver ID. So because sender, we can get it from the header or the token. So let's put it something like receiver ID, something like this. And we want to make sure that this receiver ID exists in our database. Okay, so we just want to make sure that the message is not sent to any random, like it's not coming from any random source. So whatever is the UUID is, because this is going to be a UUID, we just need to make a request here. So we will say const user equal to await. So this is going to be a function with asynchronous requests, sync request, and here we will say that okay, this is an await thing. So here we want to make sure that we will get user with UUID, and whatever is the UUID we will use that, and once it is there we will just receive the user. So what I'm going to do is I will go to user controller, write this function quickly. So we just need to copy this, actually nothing different. So UUID, and just export it. So export dot get user by UUID equal to get user by UUID. Perfect. Now from controller and two directories up, and then here when we get user ID, so here we will say something like this, and once we have the user, if we say if not user, that means we just return press, or maybe just reject the promise dot reject user does not exist. Cool. So with these two fields, we can send save the email. So I guess that's all we need for sending message. Same for the deleting message. So for that, we need the message UUID. So we'll get to that as well. Or let's just write the validation quickly for that, because it's almost the same validation, just a few things here and there. So here we don't need this. We only need the receiver ID. So that should be so this should be message ID, actually message ID, and then this is gonna be a async function where we will get a message with UUID, and this will be the UUID, and then message does not exist, message, this will be message. We'll quickly write this function for message ID as well, and also to delete the message and also to send the message. So let's go to our message controller quickly. So we'll come back to this quickly, but here we'll just write function get message with UUID. So this will be the UUID, and then we just need to do await connect, and then return await message dot find. So UUID is UUID, and we just need to find the first message, and this will be dot exec. Cool. Same for the save message. So we will create the message here, const message equal to new message, and here we can say so we will have, so let's see what we need in the message schema. So we have sender, receiver, content. So let's quickly, actually I'm not gonna, actually I can put it as it is here. So this will be request dot body, no, this will be v4 straight away created. This will be request dot user dot, if I go here and if I see the decoded user, so yeah, so user is here. So I just need to put that user inside our request. So when I go to authorize.js, so if this thing is correct, then we just do something like this, request dot user equal to decoded data. Okay, so I guess that's great. Now let's go back. Actually, we could do something like this. So we could say decoded email will be decoded email, and password, oh sorry, UUID will be decoded.uuid. Okay, and that will go to our request.user. Now we can get this user over here. So here we can say request.user.uuid. So that will be the sender ID. Then the receiver ID will be request.body.receiver ID. And the content will be request.body.text. Is it text or message? Let's see quickly. So it is message. So let's do that. Let's do here text. That's simple. So text and the receiver ID. Okay, that's good. So send is done, and we also need to save it over here. We are not done actually here because we need to implement the pusher library as well. So here I'm going to say await. This is going to be an async function. Async function. We are going to say this one also as async function. So here we are going to say await connect, but before that we also need to make sure if there are no errors. So if so, this will come from const errors equal to validation result request, and errors dot is empty. If it's not empty, then just return request rest dot status of 400 Json errors dot array. Cool. So we connected. After connect, we just save it. So here I'm going to say await message dot save. Now after we save it, we will also send a pusher trigger here. So we will get back to that. And get all messages pretty much the same. So we will need the receiver ID. So here I'm going to do something like await async, and then I'm going to say const messages equal to message dot find, and find all the messages per receiver. So receiver will be request dot params dot what parameter we are getting from here from the message. So this is the parameter that we need to look for. So we get back to message controller again. So this is the receiver ID, and if we get this, so here we can do it as an await. So if we get this, we just send back the messages. Great. So all the messages will be here, and delete message. So what we are going to do is for delete. So here in the documentation, there is a documentation for delete one. So we just want to delete one of the record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to say something like, this will be again a sync function. So here it will be await message dot delete one, and delete the message where UUID is request.body.uuid, and that's it. So we'll just send here message deleted, something like this. So get all message, delete, save, send. Okay, now let's quickly test these out. I guess user model was not required, so you can just comment it out. So let's go back to Postman. So I need a receiver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to register quickly. So let's go and here, let's register another user. Register, and body will be the same, slight different actually. Name will be my nickname, and example, this should be the@example.com. So let's send. What's wrong now? So it says oh, we should make it post request. and it was showing me that body is not defined. So, and if we go back again, run it again, send it again, and here is our new user. So this is the new user. Now let's try to message this user. So this is our user ID, and what I'm gonna do is I will go to message. So that's our receiver ID. So message send, and here we will have receiver ID as this, text as this is a message send, and we have get user ID with get user with UID is not defined. Okay, so we said get user with UUID. Sorry, my bad. So this should be by UUID. Let me see what I have written over here. So it should be by UUID, by UUID. Okay, now let's try again. Send again. Send message route. Send message route, and if we go back to message controller, yes, so this is what we have, send message route. Let's see if it's in the database. Refresh. I guess it is there. Yes, it is, and here is our message. So the sender is this, receiver is this, array content is this is a message. So wait, why did content become an array? We don't want it as an array. So let's go back over here. Where is the content message schema? Oh, we didn't make it as a text. Let's see what is the mongoose schema for big. So let's make it string. Let's go back again over here. Let's do something like this. A message. Hope you are well. Send message. I guess I should change that. So refresh messages, and here it is. This is a message. Hope you are well. That's great. So our message is getting sent. Now let's try to delete it. So I will use this UUID to delete the message. So let's copy this. Let's go to delete message, delete. UUID will be this. Oops. UUID, and let's pass it over here as like this. Now let's send it, and message deleted successfully. So if we refresh, we shouldn't see that. Great. So message deleted. Great. So I guess now we can proceed with the pusher library. So in the next video, we will see the concept of pusher, and we will see how to implement that library. So see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.